Genesis chapter 1 is the origin story of literally everything. After God made humans in his image, he gave us a blessing and a responsibility. Let's read Genesis chapter 1, verse 28. God blessed them and said to them, "Be fruitful and increase in number. Fill the earth and subdue it. Rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, and over every living creature that moves on the ground." God gave the rest of creation the blessing of fruitfulness first in Genesis chapter 1, verse 22. God gave humanity the blessing of fruitfulness second. And then he gave humanity the responsibility to protect that blessing, both for themselves and for all of creation. God instructed humans to subdue and rule over the earth. To subdue means to overcome and keep under control. To rule over means to have sovereignty or control, to have power over. It can be easy to think that because humanity was put in charge and given power over the rest of creation, humans can do whatever they want, that their happiness and fruitfulness is more important than anyone or anything else's. This thinking has led to abuses of natural resources that have caused suffering for other people, creatures, and the earth itself. But Scripture says that we do not have a right to be fruitful and multiply in such a way that the rest of creation cannot be fruitful and multiply. If we keep the rest of creation from participating in the blessing, we are going against God's will. Genesis 2:15 says that God put humankind in the garden to take care of it. It is a similar statement as the one in Genesis 1:28, but with important differences. Some versions use the word tend, which means to care for, look after, and give your attention to. The word used here for take care of it or keep is the same word used in Numbers 6:24. May the Lord bless you and keep you. In this context, it means to love and nurture, maintain and encourage. God gave both commands, subdue and rule over, and tend and keep. We should not arrogantly flaunt a subdue and rule over mindset, but humbly embrace a stewardship mindset of tend and keep. A good way to understand how to handle both commands in a godly way is to consider the difference between exercising our freedom and claiming our rights compared to fulfilling our responsibilities and obligations. Let's do that by thinking about pie. Imagine a pie with 8 equal pieces marked out, so each person can take a full piece. Now imagine that same pie with the same 8 equal pieces marked out. The first person takes their piece, but instead of cutting it along the lines marked, they cut it out of the middle. They don't take a bigger piece than they should, but they take it in a way that cuts into the pieces set aside for all the others. The person exercises their right to a full piece. There's nothing wrong with that necessarily, but by not considering the others, they do everyone else who deserves a full piece of pie an injustice. So, when we rule over and subdue creation without tending and keeping it, we practice our freedom and claim our rights without fulfilling our responsibility. And we do the rest of creation and humanity an injustice. In Deuteronomy, God tells the Israelites what will happen if they forget that he is the creator and provider. He warns the Israelites not to turn to foreign gods, which would have been a temptation. In ancient Canaanite culture, the gift of rain and fertility was believed to come from the power of the god Baal. God tells them what will happen if they forget that he, not Baal, is the creator and provider. Without him, there is no rain and no fruitfulness. Let's read Deuteronomy chapter 11, verses 13 to 17. So if you faithfully obey the commands I'm giving you today, to love the Lord your God and to serve him with all your heart and with all your soul, then I will send rain on your land in its season, both autumn and spring rains, so that you may gather in your grain, new wine, and olive oil. I will provide grass in the fields for your cattle, and you will eat and be satisfied. Be careful, or you will be enticed to turn away and worship other gods and bow down to them. Then the Lord's anger will burn against you, and he will shut up the heavens so that it will not rain, and the ground will yield no produce, and you will soon perish from the good land the Lord is giving you. Deuteronomy 11:13 through 17 says, if we obey God's commands, He will take care of us. What are some of the commands God has given us? Love God with our whole being. Love each other. Take care of the earth. Since the verse says, if you faithfully follow my commands, then I will tell the earth to give you what you need. Does that mean God does not take care of us unless we do exactly what He says? God's love for us and His care for us are not conditional. But like a good parent, He allows us to live with the consequences of our choices and actions. If we do not take care of the earth, as we've been commanded to do, the earth is not going to be able to give us the things we need from it. Even the small choices we make each day have consequences that impact our lives and the lives of future generations. In Ezekiel, this is taken a step further. God passes judgment on the Israelites for their selfish use of resources. He condemns them for abusing their privileges by not only taking what they needed, but by ruining the rest for anyone else who might need it. Let's read Ezekiel chapter 34, verse 18. Is it not enough for you to feed on the good pasture? Must you also trample the rest of your pasture with your feet? Is it not enough for you to drink clear water? Must you also muddy the rest with your feet? Being caretakers of the world is about more than only taking our share. It's also about protecting the rest for others. Let's consider how we might be muddying the water with our feet.